Hey, Drew.
Hey, Alexis. We are ready to go on episode 31.
31.
And this one is all about development.
All about it.
We talk a lot about it in a lot of the different podcasts. And we've talked to team leads, we've talked to store leads, we've talked to some coaches, talked to a lot of store managers. Today's a little bit different where we had two coaches.
Yes.
And oddly enough, they were both in the Denver area.
Mm-hmm. That's why you're wearing your shirt
That's
today.
why I'm wearing Vail.
But it's not Denver, so.
No, it's Vail.
Yeah.
It's the only Colorado shirt I had. I've never been to Vail, but I hear it's awesome.
It's pretty great. You should go.
But Denver has a lot of stores, and these two individuals are great leaders for us at the coach level and came highly recommended. So we had a great little conversation on development.
We did. Gary Trent and Cole Gordner was on here with us. And so we had lots of really good conversations around, how do you engage with your associates?
Yep.
How do you also kind of like make the development about that associate instead of more of a blanket piece of development.
That's
so
right.
I got a lot of really great things.
And you learned about hockey?
I did.
Yep.
Yep.
You're now a hockey fan?
I am.
You're learning about so many sports.
So many
during
sports.
This podcast.
Would have never thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rugby.
Still can't tell you anything about
Yeah,
rugby,
you don't
though.
know anything about it, but
Sure
it's a cool
don't.
sport.
It is.
Yeah.
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 And that you played it, and that's all I know.
Yep. That's all
Yeah.
you need to know.
All I need to know.
All right, everyone. This was a good one. I hope you enjoy this topic. I know is on top of everybody's mind as we work through. Probably the most fun thing we get to do as leaders is develop those around us and get them ready for future roles. And that's what today was all about. So
Absolutely.
Really fun conversation. I hope you guys enjoy Gary and Cole from Denver.
Yes, we're going to pass the puck.
Guys, thanks for joining us. We have two individuals with us, two associates with us in Colorado.
Yeah.
Roughly, probably in the same area of Colorado, so in the Denver-ish area, Centennial and Denver. And just happy to have both of you guys. We know you're busy, and thanks for being willing to chat with us. What we thought we'd do is probably just start with some introductions. And Gary, we'll start with you. And if you want to just talk about how long you've been with Walmart and what's the job you're doing now and kind of your journey at Walmart so far.
So I'm a Colorado native, born and raised. My Walmart story is pretty interesting. I started as a part-time associate unloading trucks at a neighborhood market. And then I got promoted to a grocery department manager after about 6 months. And then I went to a super center down the street as a support food manager. And then from there, I was a fresh Cap 1 associate. And then I was a fresh team lead. And now I am a food coach over here in the Highlands Ranch.
Food coach. That's awesome. So how long in total have you been with Walmart?
6 years.
6 years. Okay. What'd you do before?
Just odd and end warehouse jobs, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sure. Cole, tell us about your Walmart career.
So I've been with Walmart for almost 9 months now. Back in November, I started off as an entertainment team associate, just working electronics, selling TVs and stuff. And then after a couple weeks of doing that, I got promoted to the entertainment team lead. And then I ran that for about a month or two. And then I graduated on to the stocking 2 team lead role, unloading trucks and stuff like that every day. And then a few months after that, I am in my new role. I am a GM coach now. So super exciting.
That's good. What'd you do before Walmart?
Before Walmart, I made a lot of coffee at Starbucks.
There you go.
Yes.
Lattes and cappuccinos, macchiatos, that sort of thing.
Hey, I bet macchiato, isn't that your go-to drink?
No, Mom, just black iced coffee.
Oh. I could have sworn there was like a, milk alternative or
Sometimes almond
extra
milk.
pump of. Okay.
I do frequent Starbucks. Cole.
Yes. Hey, me too. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, cool. Well, yeah, you're getting promoted every couple months, so you're going to be CEO here in a year or two. It's awesome. Congratulations.
Fantastic.
Well, good. Both of you were brought in to talk a little bit about development and how important that is for associates. So we're going to have a dialogue. Part of being a leader in any organization, but specifically ours, is identifying future leaders and working and developing them. so that they're ready to take on additional roles. And clearly, for both of you guys, that's probably happened. You probably have had people that you have worked with that has helped you along the way, whether that was inside of Walmart or outside of Walmart. And then you guys, as leaders, get the opportunity to do that as well. So that's really kind of the purpose of today, is to talk a little bit about development and the role of a coach inside of a store.
Absolutely.
So Gary, let's talk a little bit about what's your thoughts on people development? How do you approach it with your team leads, and kind of what's your focus?
I think people development's huge. To work hands-on with these associates, you have really great people in these stores, and kind of just see them grow and show them the opportunities of my own story, and just help them see their own potential.
Sure.
It's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Did you have, when you were kind of moving up through the organization, did you have people that did that for you too?
Very much so. Very much so. I had some great leaders that kind of took me under their wing, per se, and kind of showed me the road that they took. And it's inspirational when you work for people that have inspiration.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Because it does kind of stretch across the team, that enthusiasm and inspiration of a leader. You can kind of get a temperament of a team by just knowing the temperament of the leader. In a lot of ways.
That's very true. Yeah. Gary, I know you and I, when we spoke a little bit prior to this call, we talked a lot about taking an initiative, and how there's been, some associates that you work with that might not know how to take the initiative or might not know that first step to take. And so what are some of the things that you do to kind of open up to an associate and see if they, have any future plans of moving up, or if they're good with where they're at, and how do you kind of keep their development going for them?
Well, my first go-to when I came to the store was just to get to know people on a people basis. They're not just my associates. At the end of the day, they're people. You get to know them, get to know their family, get to know their friends, what motivates them to come to work every day. And I think you can really steer a team that way when you feel like you're working for your family and not just your boss or your leader or your team lead. You're working to help each other out.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of time in work and in the store. And so having those connections and having those relationships makes the job more fun, right? It makes it enjoyable. It gives you purpose. And we talk about this a lot. Came up with Kathleen last week. This whole idea of if you're going to do something, might as well do it in a way where you're making a difference. You're making a difference in your community. You're making a difference with your team, or even with yourself. And it's so important that you have that connection, so that when you're at work, that it's enjoyable. And then when that happens, man, it bleeds into your total life too, and it actually enhances your time outside of work as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate you talking about getting to know your associates on a deeper level, and not just something that's around, hey, you're working for Walmart, let's figure out how to get you, X, Y, and Z for your role. And Cole, I know that in your previous role with Starbucks, there's a lot of just listening to people. And there's not a whole lot of giving directions or saying, you know what, I think you're more of a macchiato type of guy. Am I right? Am I wrong? So how have you used some of your experience, really listening to people, whether it's customers or people you work with? How have you used that in your role now?
Well, I think it's so crazy what people will tell you if you're just present for them to tell you what's going on in their lives, in their jobs. If you give an opportunity to someone to tell you what they're struggling with, how they're succeeding, what their wins are, where they think they need help, that's they really just truly blossom and present that to you. And I think it's been super cool, especially trying to teach with my team leads, how they present to me. Already they know what all is going on. I'm just there to facilitate, to be there with them, see what roadblocks I can remove. And just by listening, it's super cool to see what people already know.
Yeah.
That's great.
How do you listen? That might be a really weird question, but like I don't know, maybe I'm the only person, but if you're listening, are you listening intently? Are you just staring? How what's a really good way to actively listen to people around you and not be weird about it?
What'd you say?
What? See what you did.
Sometimes people aren't ready to have a conversation with you. And the way that you get them to communicate with you is you ask open-ended questions, you make yourself available, and you kind of have to persist sometimes and give that person the opportunity to feel safe in that conversation with you and to give you that feedback and to talk to you. And that's when you can listen and take that information that they're giving to you.
That's awesome. I like that. How did, just curiosity, how did Starbucks teach that? Was it just like common knowledge that people around you talked about? Was there a course?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
I think it's one of those conversations that we have every day is how do we drive engagement with our customers? Because when we drive that engagement, we find where we can provide a better service for them and how we can be better associates to each other by providing that to them and taking that feedback and really connecting with them on a personal level. So rather than it's your barista making your coffee every day, it's your best friend who you're looking forward to. You're so excited to see that's who's making your coffee. And from that, it moves from being a coffee business to a people business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
That's wonderful.
That's really good.
And Gary, I know that. So fun fact about Gary, everybody. Gary likes hockey because you've been playing hockey for a while now. Since how old?
I was about 6.
So just a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still play now?
Oh yeah, every Monday night.
Oh, there you go.
Very nice. So I know that with hockey, you have taken some of those cues and things that you've learned with that sport and have kind of applied it to your role and with your associate. So would you mind kind of sharing with us some of the things that you use that help drive engagement and listening as well?
Yeah, so hockey's a very team sport. I mean, you have individuals on that team, but you're not going to be successful. You're not going to win games with just one person. And I brought that aspect of my life growing up into my career with Walmart. In a team environment, everybody's got to play their role, and they got to understand that role, and they got to execute that role. And then you'll have people that kind of fall off that need the puck. Somebody needs to pass them the puck, and they can score, but they got to get the puck and able to do that. And I kind of just use that to build that team environment, pick people up when they fall, or if somebody needs help, we pass them the puck, and hopefully at the end of the day, we win that game.
Yeah, I like that. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
The everybody has a role is so true. And, sometimes we don't want to get down to that level of clarity and clearly defining what the role is. Because we also like to be able to help everybody. Like we like to be able to help across, which is a big part of it as well. But there's also comes down to everybody understanding what their role is and everybody reaching their full potential within that role. There's something powerful about that across the team. I find new leaders sometimes hesitant to give that clarity. But I think most people, all of us, including me as well, we all have a piece of the puzzle. And so really understanding what that piece of the puzzle is and then doing your best to achieve it is important. And then passing the puck is a great analogy.
Yeah, it is.
Because some people just need that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, Drew tries to pass the puck to me a lot, and oftentimes it
kind of goes right by.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, what happened? Huh? No, I think it's so important to know, like.
it's like.
And I'm just sitting here going, oh, what? No, but with role clarity, I think that at least I'm this way. I don't know if anybody else is, but I want to know what my role is, so that I know how to execute it, so I know how to perform, so I know how to do all these things.
Gary, how do you do that? How do you actually, to your team, how do you describe and give that clarity to everybody on the team? Like, what is their role? Yeah. Do you spend time doing that, or?
Very much so. Everybody's personality is different. I think that plays into the way I run my team. Everybody's motivated by different things. Everybody likes to do certain things. But at the end of the day, there's an overall goal. But if you break it down, like you were saying, very clearly into these certain roles, I think people take more ownership that way. When you say, hey, I want you to own this, and you give them the encouragement, and the confidence starts to build with that associate, even if they're a little scared at first. But once they gain that confidence, they kind of take control themselves. It's an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I think for me, it's all about empowerment, because when an associate has the know-how and they have the drive and they've got all that, when you put your full backing and confidence behind them and you empower them to own their portion of the business, they will execute across the board 100% perfectly, flawlessly every single time.
But I think everybody can relate to somebody in some form or manner, even if it's not hobbies.
Yeah.
Past life experiences are just, if somebody's going through a rough time, you're there to listen. And most of us have been through a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I connect to it.
Yeah, that's great.
That is great.
Yeah, listening, we talked about already, but listening is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yep, truly is. When we think about developing associates, especially as a coach, right? And we're kind of taking that step back from that team lead space, because the team leads are taking more of an active role. How have you kind of found yourself playing the role of a coach? Do you find yourself stepping into that team lead space a little bit, or kind of knowing what your role is and kind of sticking to it?
I definitely find myself falling back into that at some points. And it seems to be when it's more chaotic, that I fall right back into that. I want to do it myself.
Yeah.
So taking that step back and realizing that you got great people that can do those jobs that you're used to doing yourself. That's hard for me. That's very hard.
Yeah, it is hard. It's hard for everybody, especially if you want to do well. Your first inclination is, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to, I'm not going to take the time to teach, to develop, and train somebody else so that they can do it. And what happens is when you do that too much, when it's like, I'm just going to take care of it. What you do, you look around and you're the only one working, right? And everybody else is just standing around waiting to see what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not good for you, but it's also not good for the team, because they don't feel empowered. They don't feel like they're making a difference. They're just waiting for you to tell them what list to do and who wants to work in that environment. And that's the value, truly the value of empowerment is people, the level of ownership. When you feel that you have ownership, the enjoyment in your associate experience goes through the roof. Like we've seen this over and over and over. And how we know this is just how all of us are made, right? So if you have, even those, you guys on the call, if your store manager gives you, say, hey, here's what you are responsible for. Here are your goals and objectives. And then you and your team get a chance to go and accomplish that. That's a great environment to work in, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't mean that you aren't held accountable to results, but it means that you can accomplish those results in the way that you want to.
Yeah.
And that sense of ownership, that's when you wake up every morning and you want to come to work. You want to come to work to make a difference. And too often, sometimes we put limiters on our associates or limiters on ourselves, and we don't allow them to experience that level of ownership. And that's really a leadership problem more than it is an associate problem. And that's the kind of environment we want to make. And that doesn't mean that you're on an island by yourself and you don't get any support. But it does mean that you have a little piece of the puzzle, just like I have a little piece of the puzzle that I'm responsible for. And but I have ownership and autonomy to do the best I can at that piece. So that's the dream. And it's more. I go back to what we found with this is more of a leadership problem that gets in the way than it is our associates being able to accomplish those things. It's so important.
Yeah. When you have an associate, because not all associates are the same, when you have one associate that might be performing very well, but might not always take that initiative, or maybe you have an associate that is very hungry for something, but maybe kind of falls short, how do you kind of cater their development for them?
I think to cater to someone's development, you have to understand where they're at and also where they want to be. Because not every associate wants to become a salaried member of management. Not every associate wants to be a team lead. And I think it starts by understanding what they want. And then it comes back to consistent feedback. And I think consistently having that open dialogue with someone about what roadblocks are in their path, how it's going, how they're performing, that sort of thing. Having that conversation with them time and time again, it builds the trust between the two of you. So when you have that conversation with them, it's well received rather than something that they're afraid to have. It's a welcome conversation that is to better them, to better the team, to really come together and reach our goals as one single team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of goals, when you think about your career, so you've kind of started out as hourly associates. You worked your way into a team lead role, and into management. Gary, we'll start with you. How do you kind of look forward to your career? What are some things you want to accomplish? What gets you excited?
It's interesting for me because when I started with Walmart, it was just a job.
Yeah, sure.
It was a part-time job for some extra money. And as I progressed through my promotions, and now it's turned into a career, and not just at work, but kind of outside as well. I'm just curious to see where it's going to go, to be honest with you. I want to keep growing with the company and see where I land. And the growth is huge in this company, and it can go very quickly. As Cole's been here 9 months, that's pretty impressive. So I want to be a store manager at some point, but I don't want to stop there. I don't want to put limits on it. Yep. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the opportunity is pretty endless. If you're willing to put in the work and the effort, you're willing to be flexible, you're willing to be mobile a little bit. That's a big part of it, right? We're a big company across the whole country. And if you're willing to do those things, the sky's the limit.
Yep. What about you, Cole?
For me, it's been so incredible, the investment that my store team, my market team has put into my development, and what I want to do with this company, and what I've always wanted to do since I was a little kid is give that back and help other people achieve their goals also. And I think that coach role is a great spot to do that. Store lead, store manager has an excellent opportunity to do that. I mean, even the market team has been so inspirational and helpful and guided my development. And it's that intentional time and the thought that it takes to build bench strength like that. It's very inspiring, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah. What's so interesting is, we're a large company, well over 1 million associates. And, but what really makes your experience, and both of you mentioned this, isn't, programs at the home office, or corporate things, though that matters. What really matters is the relationships that you have within your store and within your market. It's those, what we call about 8 or 10 people. There's 8 or 10 people that you interact with on a daily basis that really defines your experience at Walmart and your experience at work. It's the person you work for, the people you work around, and maybe your team that reports to you, right, if you're a leader. That really makes your experience, right? And so it's so important that each individual leader has this eye of development and has this eye of creating that type of environment, because that's really what you and your team experiences. So think about it, your store. If you've had the opportunity to work in multiple stores, Gary, you may have, but there's a different feel in the different stores. And it's the different feel in the different stores is really based off the leader in the store and the leaders in the store. Create that environment. And so that's why leadership's so important. And it's also why leadership's so fun, because you have the opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives.
Yep. Huge impact.
Yep, for sure.
What's a piece of advice that you could give other coaches or maybe even team leads as well about, what is something that they can do to make their associates' development more meaningful, more impactful, something that's not just sending somebody off to a course or things like that, but really impact that associate?
I would say the number one thing is just get to know your people. People across the other side of the store. I'm a food and consumables coach, but I got to get to know every associate in the store on a different level. And me and Cole were actually in the academy this week together. So that was pretty
how
interesting.
cool is that?
Yeah. So, but we saw a video that we watched on there when Sam Walton was talking about getting to know people, and it's a little 2-minute video, and he talks about spending 30 minutes a day just getting to know people. Hey, how you doing? And getting to learn where they're from and their family, and you build a different relationship at that point. So that is my number one piece of advice.
Yeah. And it sounds simple,
Yeah.
but it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important. That's cool. You guys were in the academy class. Which academy do you guys go to?
I think it's 5137 up in Aurora.
Aurora. Okay. What are the odds that you guys would be in the same class this week? It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think my biggest piece of advice would be to carve out intentional time to spend with your team and to spend with your team leads, because we just pass over things, and something like development isn't always in the forefront of our minds. We've got holiday coming, we've got garden center that I got to get out the door. But really slowing down and taking a second to say, okay, this company has taken the intentional time to invest in my development. I have a responsibility to my associates to also give them that same thing.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's great. This has been a really good conversation around development and all the things that you guys are doing to lead your teams. We look forward to seeing your careers, and as you progress throughout the company, I think the opportunity is limitless for you guys. Thanks for what you're doing to invest in your people. You're clearly making a difference in their lives and in their teams. And we just really appreciate your time. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, you guys.
Have a great week.
You guys.
Yep. See you guys.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Bye.
I spend some time outdoors biking, and I play some video games every once in a while.
There you go.
Do you happen to play a game? It's not a video game, but
I doubt it.
It's okay. Let's
bet.
Okay, we're gonna test
I'll
it
bet
out.
you a Coke.
I don't drink a Coke. How about a latte?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, do you play something called? Give me a drum roll. Dungeons and Dragons.
I do not.
Thank you.
All right. I
Thank
guess
you,
I'm gonna
Cole.
get you a latte
Yeah.
or a Coke. Or
Next time I'm in Denver, I'll swing
energy
by,
drink.
give you a Starbucks.
You know, it's okay. That's fair. That's fair. All right. It's just me sitting at the table by myself. It's fine.